Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in. Check out your boy, P Farm. Thinking right out here in my lab, in the book. Oh, I got a nice little lesson for you. Continuation from the last one. We're working on this conscious thing. All right. Rightisms, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's always a message in my stories for life. I give life lessons. You tune in to receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right Thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I ask the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through. That's what I do. But it's rhetorical. And if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard him. Don't be him. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm your spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows not that they know is a person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to my eye be true. We're gonna talk about the most excuse me, what it is. Yeah, self mastery over your thoughts, your desires, beliefs, and aspiration is the way to know thyself. You got to put it all in perspective. Let's talk about it. The most important point is to understand from this teaching, this lesson, is that all your ego, hear me, your ego based desires are like dreams in a dream, and therefore they should not be what? They should be abandoned, not followed, not lived out. Rather, you should what? Desire only to what? Know thyself. That desire is what inspires me to be my best self. And that's the goal to get you what? To be your best self. Even as you carry out your normal duties in your life, which sustains your practical realities. I've been doing this for the last 30 years, driving trucks, loading trucks, order Masonic order, living my life doing what I need to do. So I've been in study mode for the last 30 years. And it just happened. So you may continue to go to work and have your material wealth as needed for your daily substance. And that's called living. We got to do that. But that don't mean can't study. You can't put the work you need to do. I put all my use all the stuff I'm learning in my daily life. However, deep down, you should remain aware of what the illusionariness of your desires, the true nature of this physical matter, and you should be able to develop, and by studying and meditating daily, increasing aspiration for what? Discovering of the self, rather than for gaining what? Worldly things. Again, if you put God first, to know Him, to experience Him, to be your best self, all the other stuff will fall in line. But if you put other stuff first and put God on the back burner, not gonna work. That's what they try to explain to you. That's the purpose of this lesson: to put God first. Do what you gotta do. Everything else you can do also. Whatever you need for your spiritual evolution, get a teacher, find a good book, put your stuff to work, and you will come to you. What spiritual evolution will come to you in a what they call a spontaneous manner. If you put forth the self effort daily towards your spiritual practices by holding yourself accountable and practicing the spiritual discipline set forth, you then, therefore, you will never hold on to ideas of what? Fear. Religion is based on fear. Well, I don't do that, I'm going to hell. Fear or worry over how you will be provided for. Daily living to your specification, again, that's taking care of that. So, or how will you survive and so forth and so on. That's low level thinking. That's the fight or flight mentality. How am I going to eat? Where am I going to sleep? How are things going to be taken care of? That's all low level. But rather, you concentrate on what? Doing your daily work to sustain you and your spiritual practice. And now the divine grace that you have adhered to will shine upon you. I heard it said, if you magnify in God, God will magnify you. Okay, I heard that somewhere in the Bible, whatever. But that's the same concept. If you do right in God's eyes, He'll do right by you. Called blessings. We know that. We understood that, Lord. This has been going on for a long time. All right. I got ancient knowledge. I don't have nothing new. And nothing I got new. Everything I got is ancient. So your thoughts, your desires, your egoistic belief and aspiration have the ability to lead you to what? Experience of what? You ready? Pain and sorrow in your life because they are deluded into believing in these things that are real. The ego only wants to be satisfied, only wants to be pleased, and it only wants what it wants. And if it's not under control, it will cause you great depression, sorrow, and frustration in your daily life. That means it's going to happen every day. That's not good, okay? But from one negative thought to the next, people are get caught up in that cage, as it were, so to speak, and they created this cage on their own experiences, and it's all based, you ready, on forgetfulness of their deeper and true self, God. They're working with their ego self, which is the lower self. Thus, ignorance is the true cause of their delusions in their mind. An ignorant mind is the devil's workshop. Y'all say the idol. Same thing. Idle, ignorant, same thing. But it's where the devil resides. So, ignorance in the mind is the element which must be eradicated. We say eradicated. I say conquered, controlled, put in a position where it's going to do what you need it to do. And for what it does, it's only going to do what it does. So, when you need something done, that's his job. But if he's in control, he'll do anything. See, again, he's that guy you want on your team. Okay? Why? He's going to do what he got to do. Just got to have, like my man, the right person who can control him and manipulate him in the position. That would be you. You control him. So, and you developing what they call deep insight into your nature of your own mind. Again, this is the most sophisticated machinery known to man with no instructions, just instructors. So you have to learn. You have to learn from somebody else who knows. They had to learn. I've been putting 30 years in. I had to learn. I'm not learning now. I'm teaching. And by your experiences and to make this transcendental level through which the daily practice of what? My favorite, meditation to gain what? Self-control. And that's what does this. That's how it's done. Therefore, you should what? Strive to what? Become sensitive, aware to what? The thoughts that enter in your mind. And you should, okay, and reflect of their own, reflect of their worth in the world. Excuse me. You have to be in control that what the thoughts, the negative thoughts that enter your mind, you have to be able to reflect them as the value and worth of it. Is it good or bad? Is it right or wrong? You have to have control over those thoughts. That's right thinking. And thoughts are desires that should be what? Subjected to scrutiny. Again, is it right? Is it wrong? If God, is it good in God's eyes? Is it going to be recognized by God? Okay? Excuse me. You got to be scrutiny. All the thoughts that come to your mind, you are the deciding factor. You have to scrutinize your own and use your what? Higher intellect, which is, we call that Sa. Sa means then you dealt with accordingly through wisdom. You make decisions based on wisdom and understanding. That's good decision making. Pros and cons, right and wrong, good or bad. Don't just willy-nilly say, I'm going to do that and do that. Wait a minute, maybe I shouldn't have done that. That's not the way to run yourself. You will not successfully transcend your desires if all you do is simply brush off a desire and say, yeah, well, this is wrong for me. Why? Because Mark Wright says so. No, you must develop your own decision making and insight into it and be able to discover its illusionariness, its right and wrong for yourself, thereby becoming a better decision maker. And that's what will free you. And eventually, having become free from all your egoistic desires, now your consciousness will be ready to expand beyond the confines of the egoistic mind. This is because it is only due to your illusions of fulfillment in this illusionary world that you believe to be real, of time and space, that you become entangled, so to speak, with the mind and its thoughts, the desires and the beliefs and aspirations of your ego self. And now you caught up in all that nonsense. Wonder how'd I get here? You the reason why you're there. And guess what? Ain't nobody gonna come and save you and get you out but yourself. Again, it's all about you. In reality, what? You are infinite, eternal, and devoid of desires when you have this understanding. But what does, if you the ocean, you're waving the ocean, what does the ocean need to desire from a wave? You're God. You part of God. God don't need nothing from you. Don't need a thing from you. Understand that. So, as the self, supreme self, or your individual self, now you are what? All encompassing and vast once you come to that realization, when you come conscious of your higher self and you are one. Now you are that mystical primordial ocean. Again, in what? Encompassing all the wave-like objects of creation. You are the creator. Your association with this mindset and your unconscious, your subconscious, and your conscious mind has caused you to begin to believe what? That you are human, limited to what? I'm just me, an individual. That's the ego. To a human personality, and you're bound by what? Your own circumstances. You create your own limitations on yourself. My man Infodisi says, think unlimited, think unlimited. I love that concept. So thus, you must think unlimited in order to purify your mind and then transcend it. Change it, change it, change it. You must leave the ignorance mind behind. McFadden and Whitehead, ain't no stopping me now. Why? I'm on the new. I got the groove. I'm leaving my ignorant self behind, way behind. It didn't know nothing. It wasn't about nothing. That's the ego. I love that. And that's the ego, ignorance of your mind. You leave it behind in order to what? To be able to discover the true self where? Within yourself. He ain't outside you. Okay, almost there. Oh, this is good. I made good timing. A sage, I had to put the hat on for this lesson. Okay, pay attention. I got some good little messages. A sage who has purified his heart and mind. Mind coherence. Purification is said to have what? No mind. What the hell? How could it? The term "no mind" is an acronym for saying this does not mean there is no mental activity in a sage. Otherwise, how could a sage think in order to interact with the world? It means symbolically that the mind is translucent, devoid of illusions, devoid of ignorance, and the egoistic desires that lead ones to pain and sorrow and error in their delusional state of thinking. You don't think like that no more. Now you know. You don't believe in God. You don't have, no, you know yourself and you know God. This is the purification of the mind that means an absence of egoism in the mind. You got to take care of the ego. That ego cannot be the focal point of what you do in your life. It's not a good thing to be in control. It's the best servant you got, but he should not be. He is your worst leader. Your best servant, your worst leader. That should tell you something. He only being used when you need him. That's the concept. So the daily practice of right thinking philosophy, aka we call it the yoga of wisdom, this involves you reflecting on your own thoughts and controlling your feelings and getting under control your desires, even as you are performing your daily actions. Again, you can practice it in just whatever you're doing. That's the beauty part of being in a meditative state, when you can just implement it, the teachings and put them to use as you're doing whatever else you're doing. My man just did a lesson, 3 guys working. One guy, he said, yo, what you doing here? Man, I'm working here. What you think I'm doing here? I'm building bricks. I'm building a building. Okay. No problem. Next guy. Yo, man, what you doing here? Well, I got to eat, and I'll do whatever I got to do. They're going to pay me, so I got to eat, so I'm here to make my money, get paid. Okay, that's cool. Third guy, what you doing here? Man, I'm building the best building that can be. I'm here doing my thing. I love what I'm doing. 3 guys doing the same thing, but got different perspective on it. That's a perfect example of God. Same thing, same thing. Some people serving their way, serving that way. Some people serving with zeal. I'm that guy. I'm the third guy. I'm serving him with zeal. Okay. But with daily practice, now you can come to what? A state of enlightenment of mind wherein you are now aware of all your thoughts. The negative thoughts, you can back them out. Why? You are aware of them. You keep them out. That's what you use the ego for. You stand here, anything that's negative, you kick it out. See the concept? Put it to work. And watch this. Now, as they come into your mind, you got to have the ego on his job. That takes care of that. But we got anubis for that in my philosophy. But from this position, now you can then become the observer. And then in a detached manner, you are the one seeing and understanding the world as going on. And you're able to maintain what we call the neutral state of mind. I see what's going on. I don't like it, but I got no control over none of that, so I'm not freaking out. You see what the president doing? You hear what he said? You see what that don't do nothing for me. I'm not caught up in none of that. Who won the game last night? What game? Basketball game. I don't watch that. How about what's going on with you? You got any information about that? How about God? You gonna talk about that? No. Okay, well, we ain't got nothing to talk about. Moving on. I'm a spiritual philosopher. I like talking God. Moving on. But in that state of mind, now you will be what? You will not be affected by the nonsense that's going on around you, or if you be pressured by what? Egoistic desires. Latent desires which are elicited when you come into contact with what? Certain objects that you have developed a longing for deep within. I don't have those problems. The contact, we come in contact with these objects set into motion. Now, a process where now you are now being led, you ready? To attempt to what? Possess those objects. Like the man whose wife look good, you want to cover his wife. You want something that don't belong to you. Why? Because it look good? Yeah, but that's fine. But it don't belong to you. And when you start thinking of how to get it, now the wheels of what? Evil start to turn, and that's where it comes. The jealousy, the greed, the lust for what? Somebody else's stuff. And this impulse causes your mind to be at what? Unrest. It's what? Now agitated because it has desires. And now it's trying to figure, the mind is a problem solver. It's trying to figure out how to get whatever you possess, whatever you want. The mind's trying to work toward that. That's how you can trick it to getting things you want, desirable, be it good or bad. The mind don't know the difference between the two. Okay, so this unrest in your mind, sometimes we refer to as what? Unhappiness or dissatisfaction, when the thing that you have in your mind that you want and you can't get it, you're unhappy. Okay, you're depressed. Watch this. So, of course, the same philosophy and process exists in the mind due to what? Due to ignorance, ding, 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 of the fact that there is no object or person, place, or thing that can be possessed by you which will bring abiding happiness and total satisfaction other than internal stuff. Outside stuff, but we still try. We try, and we do everything we could, still trying and failing. That's why it won't happen. You ain't no different, but they keep going. So there is always something missing. The object of your desire is never, watch this, the ego is the one who desires. So you have desires from deep down. That ego, if it wants it, well, you got a problem. Watch this, that desire, and it will never, it's never enough, even when what? You are able to acquire, to get it, to obtain what you desire most. When you get it, no longer valuable. Watch this. Now, in a short time, there is what we call complacency or boredom of the mind. If it ain't keeping the mind, it ain't worth the time. Therefore, by understanding the content of your desires and their illusionariness, now it is possible for you to what? Be able to turn away by putting the ego on his job to keep that down from and you're able, these actions, and you are able to discover now the true object of what should be desired is what? You ready? The self. What do you say? The self. How could you desire the self? Your boy Solomon desired what? Knowledge. That's how you find the self, through knowledge. Self-knowledge is the best knowledge. And your desires is just a waste. Much of the mental energy that you have for that nonsense, that's a distraction and the agitation. And this all prevents you from being able to discover what? The self. Where? Within yourself. Why? Because your attention is drawn away from the one thought to the next with your willy-nilly way of living. I want this, I like that. The desires of the flesh, the desires to have and get and want. That keeps you distracted from what? Finding the self and the waking state. You had other stuff going on in your mind, okay? And from one illusory delusion world to another. And when you enter into your dream state, that's another fabricated ideas in the mind that won't be true. Why? When you wake up, you realize that ain't real either. So what is real? So it is ignorance of your true self within that leads to your egoistic desires from without. Your desires lead to your actions that will move in towards the fulfillment of those desires, which takes you away from what? Your higher self. Now you satisfy your lower self, your desires to want, to desire to what? Money, materialistic stuff, pleasures of the flesh. And when your desires are not fulfilled, watch this, there is either suppression or a longing. Suppression means when you can't get whatever you want, you say, the hell with it. I didn't really need it anyway. But deep down inside, you're lying to yourself. That's suppression. That's called denial, and not in Egypt, in yourself. Okay? But in reality, you have not really dealt with your what? Desires. And it will now remain what? Latent, like a seed planted. And every now and then, until another provocative event occurs, it's going to rear its head again. Like herpes, it don't go away, it just pop up every now and then. I don't know where that comes from, but for instance, you may see the object of your desires often. Why? Because a friend or neighbor had possessed it. His wife, his car, anything that you really want, but you got to acquiesce. But this could be his car or his wife, an article of clothing, etc. But the more you see it, the more pressure your desires will place on you. Man, you gotta get it. You gotta get it. So now the wheels are turning, and it's never good. And then what? The suppressed desires now leads to personal anger over the inability to acquire the object. Now you got an attitude. So if you do not suppress that desire, then there develops this longing and the fancies about the object. It becomes the object of your affection. You are now hell-bent, and that's never good. And we all went through this. This ain't this one person. This ain't an anomaly. This is a fact. And the idea is to get over it, to beat it. Why? We all done it. How happy would I be if I would just get it, just one time? You feel me? I ain't got to have it, but just let me just hit this one time. Let's put the tip in. All right, so on, whatever. But this is what drives you. But that constant pressure, let me stop. Let me get this stuff out the way. The constant pressure that you put on yourself, and now you got the longing, the anger, desire, etc. It rends your mind dull and very what? Gross. Why? It's only thinking of one thing. It done got single-minded, and it's not good. So it's difficult for you to see the error in your thoughts because your mind is beset with ignorance. It can't get out its own way about objects and the physical pleasures and the desires of the flesh. Again, also, such a mind is now incapable. When you get that point, you are incapable of exercising what? Reason, rational and logic thinking and intellect. It's all clouded with what? Delusions or erroneous beliefs from the ignorant mind, the ego mind. Okay, now the object cannot permit, that object that you desire cannot and will not permit happiness to be experienced except for what? A short period of time, the time that you get in it. Once you right there, now regret and everything that sets in, reality comes in. You done messed up. Scooby-Doo, roll. That's after the fact, Monday morning quarterback, because you can't get that back. Since this happiness is only serving to what? Engender this new impressions to accept for the short time, but since this happiness only serving to what? To sprout out into what? More egoistic desires. You're going to want some more. And you got longings, which now will keep your mind in that search mode in constant state of vibration and is unable to truly discover true peace and contentment. Why? It's always on to chase somewhere. Like Yoda told Luke, your mind is always somewhere else, never in the present. But it is not seen as true happiness, but pain in disguise. Yep. This type of happiness that occurs as a result of some occurrence in the world is termed elation. It feels good for the moment, but elation, excitement, that's all. And depression, sadness are seen as the pain. Why? Because they lead the mind to this distracted, agitated state, which distorts the mind's understanding of the world and of its own identity. It's staying out of balance, so to speak. Thus, both elation and depression will prevent the mind from perceiving the divine self and the innermost essence of the mind, as well as the essence of true creation. That's God. And this is the state of mind known and referred to as, you ready, spiritual ignorance. That's what I hate that state of mind. So my whole goal is to eradicate that state of mind within you. And when there is a longing to have worldly possessions, worldly desires, there can be little spiritual discovery. Why? You want physical stuff. You don't want spiritual. So because this requires focusing, concentrating, meditating, and focusing one's attention on what? The divine. Where is it? Within as well as outside of yourself. Understand nature, see it, be part of it. So therefore, you individually must understand that the witnessing consciousness within you, which is always aware of what? The thoughts, the feelings, and your desires, is at the same time separate from them. Why? When you completely realize your separation from contents of the mind, the very states of consciousness, and the physical body, now you will be able to gain an awareness of what? Who you really are, aka you're able to know thyself, or they say discover yourself. But this is what? The true goal of life. We're spiritual beings having human experience to what? Our true goal is to really know who you are. And this is the true goal of life, mainly right thinkers, is to discover your true identity and the fulfillment of life here in the physical world. And your ego self will acquiesce to your higher self. That's the lesson. Hope you understood it. I'll be back. But I got to take you. It's the next lesson, but I'll be back. I got to go. In closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100. Me, 100 minus that day. So I've never known my right thinkers who now know how to master their thoughts, desires, beliefs, and aspirations that passed away. I'll be right back.